Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 57th episode of the Triboro Podcast, the Queens only episode, because your New York Mets are advancing to the National League Championship Series. So we're going to change up a little bit because these two advancements, if you want to call them, are pretty big for both teams, obviously. So we're going to give each team its fair share and its own flowers. So we're going to split it up. But first and foremost, your New York Mets. And wow. I mean, that's really all I got to say. The Mets have won the National League Division Series over the Philadelphia Phillies, winning 3 games to their 1. And even in the one they lost, it wasn't horrifying.
It just, what, an 8th inning collapse kind of, or 9th inning collapse of the bullpen?
Call it. I feel like it was a collapse brewing since the 6th inning.
Gotcha.
But obviously get into that a little more when we talk about the games. But no, I mean, the Mets played really well. Obviously there's some things to clean up, but I mean, how can you not be happy? I mean, I have some things talking about the quote unquote bad, but it's like I feel bad talking about the bad because like who am I to critique this team right now? You know what I mean? And it's just so surreal what this team is doing right now. They are the first team in Citi Field history to clinch at home.
That's wild.
Citi Field has been around for 16 years. They are the first team to clinch at home. Anything. Any clinch.
Oh, that's crazy.
Anything.
That's wild.
So, obviously a pretty big moment for a lot of the guys there, especially Brandon Nimmo,
especially the fans.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because if that's the first time in history that's happened, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just insane. But especially for guys like Brandon Nimmo who've been around, came up with the team, drafted by the team, obviously signed the big contract almost 2 years ago now. And for him to be a part of the first team to celebrate on Citi Field turf, I mean, you can see it in his post game, or literally right after the game. I mean, the guy was in tears. And it's just super cool to see because obviously they put in a ton of work and we yell at them all the time. But, at the end of the day, they're human and this guy feels so good for them. But with that being said, enough of the sappy stuff. We got baseball to talk about. So before we get into the games, your injury report brought to you by Triboro MD. Jeff McNeil sounds like he's going to be on the NLCS roster. He's going to play in AFL games, the Arizona Fall League, kind of just like a little, I don't know, what would you call
Rehab?
it? Like the Fall League. Like it's a, like.
Maybe just.
I don't know how to explain it.
It's
like
just,
extra work for prospects usually.
It's an off-season league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually you see a lot of prospects there. Kyle Schwarber did a very similar thing to Jeff McNeil in 2016 when the Cubs went on their run. I forgot what was it. It's like
you're manifesting that.
I'm just saying. I'm just comparing for the sake of comparing. I forgot what Schwarber did. It was something for his knee, I think.
I don't even know.
Whatever. But he was rehabbing, and they had to petition to Major League Baseball to get him in some games. Yada yada. But Jeff McNeil.
I was just gonna say, when I saw that, I was like curious. Would there even be a reason for MLB to say no?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Because like just seeing the thing, like they had to petition, like they had to ask. Would MLB ever say no to that?
I wouldn't see why, especially in this instance, because the only reason they want him to play in the AFL is because of the hurricane down in Florida.
Oh, I didn't even know. I thought it was just because that's the only place where games were going.
No, because they were going to have him face live pitching in Florida, but obviously because of the hurricane and everything that's going on there, he can't. So to Arizona. And plus, in Arizona, they're going to travel to California, whether that be in Los Angeles or San Diego, so he'll be closer. But no, he's going to play in games today, Friday, and tomorrow, Saturday, and I think they want him to play back-to-back, like all 9 innings, like all that stuff. So
Yeah, really build up.
Yeah.
Actually build up.
Exactly. So now it begs the question of, who are you taking off this roster? And unfortunately, I think the first guy that is kind of the odd man out and kind of getting squeezed out a little bit is Luis Angel Acuna. Obviously, he has been really a defensive replacement, not even a pinch runner. Harrison Bader has been that guy for the past week or so. So Acuna doesn't really have that much of a spot or role on this roster. And I mean, you just look at their depth chart right now, and the Mets are just so right-handed heavy, which I don't understand how that happens. But yeah, he's the odd man out. I think that makes the most sense. But another thing they can do is I think the Yankees are doing it. The Yankees are carrying like a 5-6 man bench.
6-man bench. They have 11 pitchers.
Right. So obviously it's different because it's going to be a longer series, so that's going to come into play. But Danny Young and Adam Ottavino have not pitched in the playoffs, period. Danny Young has not even stood up to warm up.
Yeah.
Period. So you could get...
Wait, Ottavino didn't pitch in the wild card series?
No.
I could have sworn
I think he got up one game.
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever actually came in.
I was going to say, I have an image in my head of him warming up in the bullpen in Milwaukee.
He always looks so confused when he's warming up.
Yeah.
He's always kind of like, me? You want me to get in
Are
there?
you sure you want this game to stay the score it is, or you want me in there?
Yeah, exactly. So, you could boot one of those guys out and put in McNeil, but I'm not sure if they'd be willing to do that. But again, if you're not going to use the guy, and you're not even going to warm one of them up, what's the point of having them on the roster? I mean, I know sometimes, God forbid, there's a blowout. You need guys to pitch those innings, and that's kind of what these guys are for. But you obviously don't trust them enough in big spots. And every inning in the playoffs is a big spot. So what's the point? So I think it's still going to be Acuna that gets the boot, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was one of those two relief pitchers either.
Yeah. How many pitchers do the Mets have on the roster? Do they have 14 or 13?
Let's count together.
Oh, we're getting the counting out? Let's see it.
Vaughn.
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 9. Oh, wait, 9. That's relief. That's relief.
I was going to say, then you got
10, 11, 12, 13.
They have 13 on the AL or the NL.
This was the DS roster.
They had 13?
13. Unless I missed one.
Damn.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because you guys didn't have the off days. Or, like, your off days were different than the way the AL
the AL
DS
got the nice little off day after every single fucking game.
Which is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure the players didn't mind, but
Angel Zerpa
stupid.
pitched all 4 games for the Royals.
Yeah. That's the lefty, right?
Yeah, I think he pitched 2 innings in one of the games also.
Yeah.
But it's just, and he looked disgusting in all of them. But, yeah, that's definitely a discussion to be had.
Absolutely.
Because I would probably say that you still rock with 13 pitchers, though. Just because, I'm sure I'm stealing your thunder a little bit, but say that you either face the Dodgers or the Padres, because you know it's going to be one of them, obviously. I think you need as many relievers as you can for matchups when it goes to just to those lineups. You want as many pitches as you can, because if you don't have as many pitches as you can, those games will get out of hand fast. They have, I would say, they definitely have 2 of the best. They've been playing like the 2 best offenses in this postseason.
Yeah.
Just the way they've been hitting and how pretty sure they both have double-digit runs.
I'm sure.
The Dodgers, I think, had 9 in one game, but they
Yeah.
both have great offenses, so you definitely want that deeper bullpen.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the other thing is, like, if you don't trust the guys for high leverage spots or even, like, medium leverage spots for 1 out, like, in, like, the 5th, 6th inning, what's the point of having them on the roster? I mean, at that point, at least, swap, call it Ottavino for Brosban or something like that. I don't understand, keeping guys around just for the sake of it, because it's just a waste of a roster spot that you're almost playing 2 pitchers down almost. So I don't know, but yeah, you're right. I think they're still gonna rock with the 13 pitchers. Acuna's gonna head on out, and again, that's the easiest decision, So, but enough about that. Jeff McNeil should be coming back. That's pretty fun. The next thing for McNeil is, where's he gonna play? I would probably start him over Jose Iglesias, at least to start, because Iglesias has looked a little rough in the playoffs, if I'm going to be honest. He's swinging at everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. I forget if we talked about it actually on the podcast or it's just off camera, but for as much as a high contact guy he chases like he's the biggest slugger in the world.
Yeah. He chases like Baez or Jazz.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to add to your point. He's not qualified in 2024, but if he was, he would be about 8th percentile in chase percentage, but then about 90th in whiff and strikeout percentage. So he chases out of his shoes, but he doesn't whiff.
Right.
But that's also against all MLB pitchers. When you consider it's the playoffs and you're going up against the best of the best, you're not going to be able, the whiff percentage is going to come down because you're going to whiff more because it's better pitchers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, since McNeil has gone down, I mean, Iglesias has played every day at second base. I mean, he's been spelled a few times for Eddie Alvarez in the regular season, but for the most part, Iglesias has been starting every single day. And when McNeil got hurt, I said that, one of the things I think made Iglesias like productive and quote unquote good is that he didn't play every day, and he was able to kind of come off the bench as a high contact guy and for defensive replacement, and give him a start every few days. So I think giving him a day would be a good idea, but obviously I think he's been your guy for the past month or so. You still gotta find time to play him. So the other thing is kind of platooning him with Starling Marte. Marte has had very good at-bats. Excellent at-bats. I don't want to say shocked, but I'm very pleased with what I've been seeing from Marte.
Pleasantly surprised.
Very, veteran at-bats, very, I've thought of a word.
There's a job that has to be done, and he gets the job done.
Yeah. But on the season, Starling Marte has a 141 weighted runs created plus against lefties, a 87 weighted runs created plus against righties. He's hitting 310 against lefties, 251 against righties. So I think a platoon makes sense, especially for Marte, who you can, give him a few day or two off his legs because he needs it. Or you could also, give Tyrone Taylor a day. Him and Bader haven't really been all that offensively. I mean, Taylor, obviously, and Bader, really. You know what you're going to get defensively, but you put Brandon Nimmo in center field, Jeff McNeil in left, Starling Marte in right. That can also be an option. But regardless, I think just getting that left-handed bat option, forget about in the lineup, just having another left-handed bat option is going to be huge for this team because they've really been rocking with Nimmo and Winker when they face a righty. So, again, you only have 2 lefties in that lineup, 3 if you want to count Lindor.
What would you do? Because I think I know what I would do.
I think to start, I think I would give Iglesias. Well, I mean, they have the days off, so
Yeah.
at this point, whatever. But I think I would definitely platoon Marte and McNeil,
Interesting.
and then give Iglesias a day off like every once in a while. Like I think the schedule is 2 in California, day off, 3 at Citi Field. So maybe it's like Iglesias, McNeil, Iglesias at second base, and then either bench or right field for McNeil.
Interesting.
So that's probably what I would do, because as much as I love Nimmo, his defense is nowhere close to Taylor or Bader in center field. So I think we saw Taylor, what he can do defensively with that, that play to get Bohm, trying to not even stretch it into a double. Like, that's a well-struck ball that Taylor just had an excellent read on and just launched into the infield to get Bohm a second. But, it's plays like that where, yeah, he's probably not going to give you a ton offensively, but, he saves you runs in that way. It's the run prevention versus run scoring thing. So, but obviously, I think you disagree. So,
I don't know.
What would you do?
Even though he doesn't have good numbers against righties, I still think that Marte is kind of one of those guys that you want in the lineup every day. Just because, like you said, he has professional at-bats. The only thing with, and I think you kind of, I don't want to say realized it, but kind of like maybe talked yourself into a little more is, you could say keep him off his legs, but it's only 2 games and 3 games and 2 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the off day in between.
Yeah.
And I know for the first one, at least, it's a 4:00 start, which would be a 1:00 start in LA. So, or for the second game, meaning the first one before the travel day. So you'd have a getaway day. So you would essentially have an entire day off.
Right.
So I would probably do that. I don't hate the idea of platooning him with Iglesias, obviously, because Iglesias just does not look good. But at the same time, I could also see a thing where the Mets just say, we want to go with our best offense for whatever reason, and they put Nimmo in center, and because it's also a thing to me of who has more manageable at bats to you. Tyrone Taylor / Bader. Let's say Taylor, because Bader is.
Yeah, Taylor has been starting like every single day.
Yeah, so
Bader is the 4th outfielder.
Taylor versus Iglesias. Who would you rather have in the lineup, considering position, considering just everything?
It's pretty funny because they're somehow very similar hitters. They both chase a lot. Taylor definitely has more power in somewhere in there. But I don't know. I think the good thing about Jeff McNeil is that he could play wherever, right? I think I would rather have Taylor in the lineup just because of his defense in center field. I think Iglesias is amazing defensively, but Jeff McNeil can also hold his own. So I think that's what I would do. But
say that one more time. Sorry.
I think I would keep Taylor in center field just because of his defense.
Yeah.
Iglesias is really good defensively, obviously, but Jeff McNeil can also hold his own at second base. I don't think he had great numbers this year, but he looks good at second base.
There's also such an up and down year for him.
Yeah, but he looks good at second base. He makes the plays. He's not going to cost you. So I think that's probably what I would do.
I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'd probably do that. I'd probably take Taylor out before I took Marte out, though. Just because I think that Marte
Definitely.
gives you so much more offensive upside.
Mhm.
The only argument you can make is that you do not want to see him field a fly ball.
Yeah.
Which I definitely agree with you. That was kind of the only reason that I wouldn't want Marte in.
Yeah.
But I just think the professional at-bats, just he gives you a lot. He's a lot more likely to run into, call it a single or a double, steal a bag, than you got a runner in scoring position.
Right.
So I'd rather have that over, not a knock on Taylor whatsoever, a defensive outfielder.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But just to highlight it, because I feel like or at least I've kind of ragged on Iglesias a little. but he is currently hitting 207 with a 233 on base and a 207 slugging. So all of his hits have been singles. You know, he doesn't walk. He's not striking out nearly as much as I thought he was, but I mean, look, he's a high contact guy that kind of relies on the batting average of balls in play. So when hits aren't landing, or when he's kind of smacking the ball all over the field and they're finding gloves, he's not really going to give you much else. So I think that's kind of like where my head's at, but we'll see. The good thing about Jeff McNeil is he could play all over, so they definitely have
Yeah,
their
they
choices.
have options, which may not be a good thing, just because that could lead to overthinking. That could lead to like making the wrong decision.
I'm not worried about Carlos
I'm not worried
Mendoza
about it either.
overthinking.
But just yeah.
Sorry, coffee sip. But all right, enough about Jeff McNeil. I love him, but let's move on. So, to quickly recap the National League Division Series, Game 1, you saw Kodai Senga make a surprise start. He only lasted 2 innings, gave up 1 run on, I think it was like the first pitch of the game, second pitch of the game. But he looked good for the most part. Obviously, you could tell he was a little rusty. He didn't completely have his command, but he looked good. I'm excited for more. Because they won in 4 games, they have all the options in the world and what they want to do for their pitching lineup in the CS, which we'll talk about. But Senga looked good. David Peterson piggybacked after him. Peterson's been phenomenal. The offense had absolutely nothing on Zach Wheeler. I mean, good on the pitching for keeping it a 1-run game. It was the 6th, 7th inning, 8th inning, where the Mets just hit single, sac fly. They just death by 1,000 cuts to the Phillies
Trillion
bullpen.
cuts.
They had I think it was a 5-run inning, and then they added a few runs afterwards to bring them to a win in Game 1. Game 2,
which they had no business.
absolutely
winning.
none.
None.
No.
Wheeler looked like he could have gone a complete game.
If Wheeler wasn't at 115 pitches, whatever it was, he was still going. So thank God that
Props to the Mets for. I was just gonna say I'm working the counts.
Yeah, no, exactly. Props on them for not getting him out early because he didn't, but like hanging in there. I think the pitching is the hero of this game. As much as that 5-run inning helped, you don't get a shot at that if the pitching doesn't keep it a 1-run game, right? But to take a lead in Game 1, Game 2, Luis Severino, quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, but he pitched so much better than his final line showed, and Severino's such a frustrating pitcher. I know you can attest to this, but it's just...
For those that didn't see or are listening, I just had the biggest eye roll of all time.
His eyes are going to get stuck in the back of his head. But he was through 5 2/3 scoreless innings. And I forget if it was a walk to Trey Turner or it was a single. I think it was a single. It was a single to Trey Turner. And then he just tries to groove a fastball by Bryce Harper. And Bryce Harper does exactly what he's going to do when you try to groove a fastball towards him. He hits it for a home run. Now it's a 1-run game. Now Severino's in his head.
And wasn't the Turner at bat at 2 strikes too? Like 1-2 or something? Like 0-2?
Yes. Like 1-2, 2-2, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was ahead, but whatever. It's just...
Definitely had him on 2 strikes. I know that for a fact.
Yes. And then I think he got in his head. He hung a sweeper that was called a strike. And then he hung another sweeper that Castellanos did not miss. So in the time of 3 pitches, the Mets went from leading 3-0 to tied. Sevy. What are we doing? Very frustrating. But, it's tie game. whatever. The Mets got the lead right back afterwards, and then it was just you kind of foreshadowed it. The bullpen just didn't really have it that day. Edwin Diaz, in particular, did not have it. I think Jose Buto started the 7th. He only got 2 outs. Edwin Diaz came in to finish the inning, and then Edwin Diaz started the 8th and just had no idea where the ball was going. And that's been a pattern or a little story as of late for Edwin Diaz. Tyler McGill came in afterwards to kind of clean up the mess. But, I think at this point, this is where the consistent games, the doubleheader, going straight into the wild card, then you get one day off, and then you go into the division series. I think this is where that lack of time off really caught up to them, and everyone was kind of gassed at that point. But I mean, this, as much as it stung. I mean, Mark Vientos, holy crap! What a series! What a game for him. He went 3 for 4 in this game with 2 home runs, a double, and 4 RBI. The Mets scored 6 runs. He hit 2 2-run homers.
Just you saying 4 RBI, so it's grammatically correct, but it sounds so weird.
I know.
Because it's runs batted in.
Right.
So you don't need to say
runs batted in
RBIs.
is, yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, that just like no, I'm
just
sorry
threw
to cut
for a
you
loop.
off, but that just like
I know.
it's way too early for
It's
this
early.
shit. It's 8:55 on a goddamn Friday, Nick.
But Mark Vientos, hell of a game, hell of a series. I'll talk more about him in a few. But yeah, the bullpen just didn't have it this day. But I mean, for the one loss they had, I wasn't even that mad. My thinking of it was the Mets lost that game because they didn't have another chance to bat. I think if Tyler McGill could, again, with 2 outs, but whatever, if Tyler McGill can get through that 9th inning, I think the Mets score in the top of the 10th, and they can maybe squeeze that one out. But it's one of those, not karma, but like
I want to say
it balances itself out.
you were playing with house money, I feel like, in that game, and especially because you already had the win in Philly.
Yeah,
So it's definitely playing with house money.
absolutely. And it's one of those things where I really don't think you had any business winning game 1. Game 2 is the one you should have won, so it's kind of like that balancing act, I guess. But that was game 2, so the series was tied heading into game 3. Going back to Queens, first National League Division Series in Queens since 2015. And Sean Manaea showed up. He went 7+ scoreless innings, pitching into the 8th inning. He only got 1 batter, but I have here in my notes, dog. Sean Manaea was a dog. He was amazing. I cannot be understated.
He's one of those fluffy dogs.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I
a
mean
German
with those-
Shepherd.
No. I'm thinking the exact opposite. Where they got that long, wavy hair. Like, what are those dogs called?
I have no idea.
I'm looking up big fluffy dog.
You look at big fluffy dogs. But Manaea went 7 innings, 3 hits, only 1 earned run, which was a inherited runner that scored 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and just a huge outing for Manaea. I mean, absolutely amazing.
He's an old English sheepdog.
Let me see it. Oh my God, what's that Disney movie? That dog. It starts with an S. Oh my God, wait.
101 Dalmatians?
No. It's with Tim Allen. Shaggy Dog.
Shaggy dog?
Shaggy Dog. Sean Manaea is a Shaggy Dog.
Hey,
But
Shaggy dog?
no, Manaea was fantastic. Just want to highlight one play.
No, this is it. Sorry. A rough collie. That's what I meant about that long,
Oh, I see
wavy
what you
hair.
mean,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
There was one play, I believe it was the 6th inning, where Manaea walked back-to-back batters. It was getting a little dicey. He walked Schwarber, he walked Turner, so now it's Bryce Harper up with a I think at that point it was a 2-0 lead, so it can get dicey really quick. He struck out Harper on 3 pitches and then got Castellanos to line into a double play. That was the biggest inning and play of the game. If Manaea doesn't get out of that, I think we're talking a completely different outcome. So just Manaea, huge props. He was fantastic. And then the offense started off quick against Aaron Nola. Pete Alonso hit his 3rd home run of the postseason. Jesse Winker hit his 1st home run of the postseason and absolutely pimped it. He stood at home plate for about 20 years. And then Marte and Iglesias. Marte and Iglesias both had bases loaded singles late in the game to kind of put things away. So the Mets go into Game 4 with a chance to clinch at home with Jose Quintana on the bump. And I have here in my notes for Jose Quintana, dog. Amazing performance by Quintana. He was fantastic. He only went 5 innings, but 2 hits, 1 unearned run, which was just a little dribbler that Vientos couldn't handle, and runner from third scored. He was amazing. He was fantastic. He's everything you needed from your starter. But the story of this game is the offense, or lack thereof, to begin with. Before I get into the very nice part, this team went 3 for 15 of runners in scoring position, leaving 10 men on base.
That's nothing. Rookie numbers.
They had bases loaded opportunities in the first 2 innings and did not score a run. So it was getting tense fast. It was getting a little dicey, a little too much for my liking, but here he comes again. Francisco Lindor. If the base is loaded, late in the game, the Mets are only down a run. So what does he do? He doesn't tie the game. He hits a grand slam.
You know what I'm going to do? While you talk, I'm going to try and get Bluetooth up.
We're not doing Moneyball.
No. I was going to play the clip from the radio.
Yeah, so we were on the radio during the game and got my live reaction to the grand slam. Go follow us at Triboro Sports Show, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. But while Justin gets set up, I mean, Francisco Lindor, what else can you say? I'm speechless. What a player. What a man. What a shortstop.
What a man.
I mean, he comes through in every moment. Every big moment. The moment always finds him, and he always comes through. I mean, that's so... You don't see that.
Didn't Ian just post in the group chat with the 4 of us?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll try... Never mind.
I can send it to you.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'll just look it up on TikTok.
But, no, I mean, just insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah, I have no words to describe Francisco Lindor. I mean, that's his biggest hit since 2 weeks ago on Monday. And that's the Mets' biggest hit since a week ago on Thursday. I think this just goes to show this run that this team is on. I mean, you have your big guys stepping up in big moments with the big hits. And did you get it?
I got it.
Okay. So,
I just really don't want to blow everyone's ears out, so I'm going to...
Make sure that the audio is...
Oh my god, did he get it?
There it is.
Get out, ball! Grand slam, Francisco Lindor. The Mets take the lead in Game 3.
4.
Oh my gosh. Lindor with a swing and a drive.
Santa Maria. And there's you with the Moneyball music.
We still get the Moneyball music, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just insane. It took every fiber of my being to not go ballistic.
To not curse on the radio
on
and
a
get us
live
all
radio.
kicked out. Yeah,
exactly. So, shout out Ian for getting that clip up. I'm going to treasure that forever. I have that saved to my phone, and it's going to be there forever. And I'm so glad I got that reaction
You know
somewhere
what?
recorded.
We were talking about the other day about how we don't like it when
Yeah.
people record stuff at a game because you can't capture the
can't-
moment
yeah.
truly.
Yeah.
You got the best of both worlds.
I know. I got live reaction. It's, I don't, like, at the end of that clip, Justin goes, we really need a camera in this
Yeah,
room.
we do.
We do. We absolutely do. It was insane. But, yeah, Francisco Lindor. What a goddamn player. MVP type shit. But David Peterson comes in afterwards. I think 2 innings of relief, something like that. And Carlos Mendoza brings in Edwin Diaz to close things out, and he scared the ever-living shit out of me by walking the first 2 batters. But good on Diaz because he got out of it, closed things down, and the Mets are on to the National League Championship Series. So let's do a little recap of all the games. Again, I think the Mets handled the Phillies pretty handedly. I don't think it was that close besides Game 2, which I think was a very winnable game. The Phillies just did not show up in this series, if I'm being honest. Bryce Harper did, because Bryce Harper always does. But
Schwarber did. I know he had how many home runs? 2 home runs, I want to say?
One.
He
Had 1 hit.
Really? I thought he had more home runs than
The
that.
first pitch of the first game was a home run.
Damn.
Zilch.
I mean, Castellanos did.
Harper and Castellanos.
He had 2 huge hits.
Yeah, Castellanos almost single-handedly won you Game 2.
Yeah.
But Trey Turner, what happened? JT Realmuto didn't get a hit. Alec Boehm looks completely lost. Brandon Marsh.
To the point where
looks-
Boehm got benched.
Yeah, exactly. He got benched and then
What was it? His first 10 at-bats, he saw 19 pitches,
something like that.
which was like the lowest of all time since pitch tracking became a thing through 10 at-bats.
It's like a little less than 2 pitches in at bat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he looked lost. Yeah, I mean, again, no one showed up besides Bryce Harper and Castellanos for that one game. But you know what? I'll talk about it now since we're kind of talking about Phillies. Speaking of not showing up, the bullpen, holy crap, the Mets manhandled the Phillies bullpen. In the series, the Phillies bullpen had an 11.37 ERA in 12.2 or 12 and 2/3 innings pitched. Some of their best guys, Matt Strahm, 18 ERA. Jose Ruiz, 6.75. I can't believe this is a real number. Jeff Hoffman, 40.5.
That's like the guy for the Nationals that had like 5 appearances and had an infinite ERA.
Yeah. Man handled this Phillies bullpen. I think this kind of threw Rob Thompson in for a loop because the Mets just hit everybody that he put out there. So he's like, as a manager, you're seeing your top guys get shells. Like, who the fuck am I supposed to put in?
Yeah.
You know, not everyone's Zach Wheeler. No one's going to keep going 7, almost 8 innings pitched. Who the fuck are you going to put in? You know, even Carlos Estevez, who Lindor hit the grand slam off of, he got hit around a little too. So I think that from game 1, that set the tone because the Mets hit all of the Phillies' high leverage guys and continued to do so the entire series. I think I had some stats saved on my phone. I need to quickly
As you do that, yeah, Phillies bullpen, like, I feel all the warts that the Phillies, I feel like maybe not moved past, but kind of haven't been as big of an issue as they have been in the past, kind of came back, whether it be the bullpen, whether it be the defense, especially in the infield. I feel like
they had some misplays.
they weren't really that big of an issue this year, but in
Yeah.
years past, I feel like that was always the narrative with the Phillies, that they couldn't play defense.
Yeah.
They had like a horrible bullpen, and the whole meme came back about Phillies
His
defense moment.
Yeah.
It's just their defense was not good.
Nah, they definitely did not. They played sloppy. They played sloppy the entire series.
Played like a team that had 9 days off, or however long it was, 6 days
Yeah.
off.
But this is what I was looking for. Phillies hitters out. This is from Just Baseball on Twitter. Phillies hitters outside of Bryce Harper and Nick Castellanos. 13 for 100, which is a 130 batting average. 0 doubles, 1 home run, which was Schwarber's home run in Game 1. 180 slugging for a 430 OPS. They didn't show up.
Not good, boss.
They didn't show up. I mean, I'll take it. Thank you. But they did not show up, and the Mets just steamrolled them. So, enough about the Phillies. And I forgot. Garrett Stubbs, the biggest shit talker in Major League Baseball, never got a plate appearance. Fuck you. Thank you.
Let me turn you off. There you go.
Thank you. I can't stand that motherfucker. But regardless, let's talk about the Mets. I'm going to give you some honorable mentions, and then I'm going to give you my MVP for the series. I want to get your thoughts.
Bet who the MVP is.
I bet you can. Sponsored? No.
Sponsored by BetGM.
BetGM. So, Pete Alonso.
He heard you.
He heard me. Ever since that Milwaukee home run. He turned it on a little bit. In this series, he hit 308 with 2 home runs, a double, and 3 RBI.
That goddamn pumpkin. It's
a great
the
pumpkin.
team of
Pete
gimmicks,
Alonso.
they're on.
Brandon Nimmo, he hit 286, 3 RBI. He also hit a home run. Francisco Lindor. What else do I need to say? Minaya and Quintana with excellent starts. And then David Peterson. 6 1/3 innings out of the bullpen. 0 earned runs. He's just been an absolute weapon out of the bullpen. But the MVP of this series was undoubtedly
Jose Iglesias.
Mark Vientos.
Yeah.
He hit 563 in the series. That's 9 for 16. Of those 9 hits, 4 of them were extra base hits. 2 home runs in Game 2, 2 doubles, 5 RBI.
It wasn't even.
I don't give a shit
debate.
what he does on defense.
He had that one play where you could argue a Costa run, you could argue not. It would have been a close play.
It would have been bang bang. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, you can't make. The only other guy I could see somewhat of a semblance of an argument is maybe Sean Manaea.
Maybe.
Just because
that was a big start.
Just because such a big start, but then again, Vientos was huge for 4 games. Manaea was only big for 1.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's a Cy Young, 100% Manaea.
Yeah. If I'm doing like
all the awards,
offense, defense, pitching, I would probably go Sean Manaea. A huge start for him. Just cannot be understated. So yeah, Mark Vientos. I mean, holy crap! What else can you say? The power to the opposite field is insane. The second home run he hit in Philly was insane. It was like at a ball. It was like almost at his head, like at his neck. But he's just had himself hell of a series, and very happy to see the players he's blossomed into before our very eyes. But I gotta talk a little bit about the bad. Again.
Wait, I have one. Do you have anything more on the good?
Yeah, on the bullpen. I'm moving on to the bullpen. But
okay, because there was someone I really wanted to mention for good, but it also he's in the bullpen.
Okay, so
it's up to you. Do you want me to say it now or do you want to wait?
1 second. 1 minute. Un momento.
Hold, please. No, I'm not gonna goddamn hold.
I don't want to hold. But the Mets bullpen had a 4.01 ERA in 24 2/3 innings pitched. Not terrible. The bad part is Phil Maton has 4 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings pitched. He has not looked good. He, in my personal opinion, has fallen out of the little circle of trust.
Yeah.
Because another guy has emerged.
You were really high on Maton too.
I was. He's a proven postseason guy. I think he has a sub-2
I could
postseason
check that
ERA.
for you right now.
It could be an exhaustion thing. You know, he was used a lot. But yeah, he doesn't look crisp. I mean, I was talking to my
So
dad.
this is
Yeah,
in
go for
his
it.
career, including this year. Phil Maton has an 0-1 record with an ERA of 2.22 and 25 strikeouts and 23 appearances. If you take out this year, he had a 2.7 ERA and 3 1/3 in 2020. In 2021, he had a .73 in 12 1/3. In 2023, he had a 0 ERA and 6 innings pitched.
Yeah. So again, he was a proven guy, just hasn't gotten it done. And then the other quote unquote bad, Edwin Diaz. He's looked better. But he's still having his little blips, a little scary. 3 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings pitched. Not terrible. I think all 3 of those runs came in game 2 of the wild card game. I lied to you straight to your face, of the NLDS in Philly. But, he looked, after walking the first 2 batters at the end of game 4, he's struck out 2 and got a fly out. So he's looked better. I'm hoping the rest can kind of,
That's my thing.
yeah, he can really just get rest. And I think finishing off that game is good for his confidence. So hopefully this is a little turnaround for Edwin Diaz, because if the Mets want to make this a run to remember, they're going to need Edwin Diaz to get right.
Mm-hmm.
But the good.
I was gonna mention on Diaz. I think he definitely needs the rest, just because I feel he is just so overworked. Because he threw 40 pitches. Like, it feels every single outing
Yeah,
he throws over 30 pitches. And not that he's not that guy, he could definitely do it in a pinch. But every single appearance, I feel like that's way too much. I'm gonna mention it with the Yankees, but winning in 4 and getting those 2 extra days off is huge.
Yeah.
And I think that's, out of all the teams in the playoffs, the Mets needed it by far the most.
Absolutely. I think that, thank you for bringing that up, because I think that's a huge, underrated aspect of them winning in 4 games. Because, they do get 3 days off after playing, high intense baseball for the past 2-3 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So, again, huge for literally everybody. Everyone needs it. But the good coming out of the bullpen so far is Reed Garrett. He's looked a lot better. He's currently on 3 2/3 scoreless. Ryan Stanek has only allowed 1 earned run in 4 1/3 innings pitched. I think the 1 earned run was in game 1 of the NLDS. Besides that, he's been clean. And then David Peterson, who I already highlighted, 6 innings out of the bullpen, no earned runs. He's been fantastic. So, one of those 3 guys, the guys you wanted to mention, or no?
David Peterson.
Yeah.
I love when there's certain guys that I feel just go from the starting rotation, that go to the bullpen, that just have the stuff for the bullpen. And I feel like he's been just so underrated in the bullpen. Definitely one of those guys that's just been a rock. You can make an argument, not that they don't win some of those games, but they're just a lot closer than they would be if it wasn't for Peterson just pitching as good as he's been pitching. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I mean, he was an excellent starter. I think he absolutely deserved to start one of these playoff games, but he's been a weapon out of the bullpen. I mean, he got the save in Milwaukee. He piggybacked off Senga, gave you 3 innings, I think only allowed 1 hit. He gave you another 2 1/3, I think it was, in game 4. I mean, he's been excellent. It cannot be understated how good he's been. And as a David Peterson believer, so happy for him, especially coming off the surgery from the offseason, coming back, having a career year, and then doing what he's doing in the playoffs is just spectacular. And again, cannot be understated what he's done for this bullpen, who absolutely lacks a reliable left-handed option. So again, thank you, David Peterson.
Finger snaps.
But with that being said, we're going to close things out with a quick NLCS preview. So like Justin mentioned before, at this time, we don't know if the Mets are going to play the Dodgers or the Padres. They currently playing Game 5 tonight on Friday. So we will know by tonight. But the schedule is going to go 2 in California, travel day, 3 in Queens, if necessary, travel day, 2 in California, if necessary. So I'm going to let you answer this first. Who would you rather the Mets face?
I don't even think it's a debate for me. Like
Same here, but real quick. They went 2-4 against the Dodgers in the regular season, 5-2 against the Padres.
What was the record against the Phillies in the regular season?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it doesn't
I
matter,
bet they're negative against them.
I think it was like 6-7, something like that. It was close.
Yeah, that's 13. I was like, that doesn't sound
Something like that.
But yeah, I would Dodgers. Just the way that this pitching lines up, they have to throw Yamamoto in Game 5. He didn't look good in Game 1 by
I think only
any
went
stretch.
3 innings.
3 innings, 5 runs.
Yeah.
He didn't look good whatsoever. And I also like I think the Dodgers lineup is a lot more top heavy. Granted, the top is
Heavy.
absurd. It's
Yeah.
very heavy. But I think the Padres have a better lineup overall. And I feel like shit always goes wrong for the Mets when they play the Padres. I know you guys went 5-2 against them. Like,
Fair.
I just feel like when you get Machado, I know Musgrove got Tommy John.
Yeah,
So that's
Musgrove's out.
that's a huge thing for the Mets. But I feel like just Machado, Tatis is on I'm not exaggerating when I say this, historic run
Yeah.
right now in the playoffs.
Tatis is insane.
But my cousin, he brought up a pretty solid point. The Dodgers have a top 3 slugging percentage against righties and lefties, while San Diego is good against righties, but bottom 10 against lefties.
You say your cousin? We got to get him on the show because I literally had that in my notes about the Padres against lefties. But yeah, no, the Dodgers just kill pitching. And then the Padres are, like you mentioned, good against righties, kind of middling against lefties. And you look at the Mets rotation, Sean Manaea, Jose Quintana, David Peterson out of the bullpen. You got some left-handed options. But I think it's the playoffs. You can't get picky, right?
I think it's a good matchup either way. I just think
it's going to be a fun series either way.
Yeah.
But really quick.
Also, just wherever you play, whether it be San Diego or LA, I think a very underrated thing is that it's a 1:00 start time on a weekday.
So stupid.
Which I agree. I agree with you. That's stupid. But that's going to play in the Mets' favor because there's going to be no one in that crowd.
You'd think, yeah. I mean, I think Monday is not Labor Day. What's Monday?
No, it's not Labor Day. Columbus Day.
Columbus Day. Yes.
Did you see the thing of when it was yesterday, I believe it was, or whenever the Tigers played and they played like in the morning. Oh yeah, when they played at like 3:30 or whatever. People are saying that that's such a home field advantage because you're giving a day game to the Tigers, which Detroit has the highest unemployment rate in the country.
Oh my god!
So people are saying that it's a day game to a team that just one works at, so the team's gonna be crazy. But
insane. But really quick to just because Tatis is just a monster. He's currently hitting 500. This is for the entire playoffs. He's hitting 500 for 577 on base, a 1.182 slug. It's a 366 weighted runs created plus.
To put it in perspective with Tatis, if Tatis got a single every single at bat, his slugging would go down.
Yeah.
If he hit 1,000 with all singles, his slugging would go down. Yeah. Just think about that.
And the second best hitter on the Padres in the playoffs by weighted runs created plus, I want you to guess.
Luis Ariz.
No. You know it.
Kyle Higashioka.
Kyle Higashioka has the second best weighted runs created plus on the team so far.
Dude, I love that. We didn't talk about it on the podcast, but we talked about it off camera. I just love that they have Michael King throwing a Higgy. For Yankee fans, that's such a just like nice thing. Like that's why obviously I want the Mets to make it just for content to the World Series. But I wouldn't hate the Padres did just because you
for
have
King and Higgy.
King, Higgy, Wandy, Tyler Wade, Brandon Lockridge, who is a prospect that they traded at the deadline, who
I
I
love
was
him, by the
high
way.
on. Lockridge?
I love him
Why?
because he hit a home run against the Diamondbacks.
Oh yeah, fair.
I didn't know who he was before that home run.
No, but like I feel like they got a lot of ex-Yankees on that team, so like obviously I want the Mets, but I wouldn't hate. But that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
Yeah. So again, not gonna get picky. I think the Dodgers are a quote unquote more favorable matchup. It's still gonna be tough. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, but the Dodgers definitely are lacking in the starting pitching department. You got Yamamoto, you mentioned, has to go game 5. He didn't look great. Jack Flaherty, better, but still, like, I think it was like 5 innings, 3 hits.
He also had like
3
that back
runs.
issue kind of going into the
Right.
playoffs.
Walker Buehler, he's had an up and down year.
Got robbed the other day.
Right. And then after that, they had to throw a bullpen game 4,
Yeah.
which,
They spent $1 billion in the offseason. You
Yeah.
got to throw a bullpen game.
I mean, to their credit, they won, and, like, it wasn't close.
But that's not sustainable.
No, absolutely not.
Like I'll get into that in the Bronx with the Tigers. That's just not sustainable.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Baseball gods, whatever you decide, I think this Mets team's up for the challenge, whatever it may be.
Now, are you done with all your points?
I have pitching lineup, but depends what you're gonna say.
Go.
Okay.
There's something I want to wrap us up on.
Yeah. So just a few notes for the pitching lineup. Because of the rest, they can kind of line up however they want to. So just a couple notes on some of the guys. Manaea would be on regular rest if he pitches game 1 on Sunday.
I think you got to do that.
He has a 2.86 ERA in 12 games started this year on regular rest. Compare that to, I think it was over 3 with more or less. But he's at his best on regular rest. Jose Quintana cannot start until game 2 on Monday. He has a 2.96 ERA in 14 games started with 5 days of rest, which I believe,
Is regular?
no, 4 days of rest
Yes,
is
yes,
regular.
yes.
So with an extra day of rest, he's a little better. But the issue with that is it goes from 296 to, I think it was over 3 or over 4 with 6 or more.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And you'd be doing 6 or more if he didn't pitch game 2, correct?
correct. So you have that to think of. And then Luis Severino is ready to pitch whenever. He has a 2.63 ERA in 7 games started with 6+ days of rest.
Yeah.
So I think Sevy's probably lining up to start game 3, if I'm being honest. Let's see. And
Do you
Jose
take
Quintana,
ballparks into factor at all when considering starts, especially for like Quintana versus Severino?
I have not, but really quick on Quintana, like I mentioned, 5 days rest, 2.96, regular rest, which is 4 days, 5.29, 6+ a 3.46, which is not bad. But no, I didn't really think about ballpark. No.
Okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
be considered that much. I was curious if you thought about that.
Yeah, but then the other thing is Kodai Senga. He is ready to pitch whenever. I don't know. It seems like until he's built up, they're going to go the Senga for a few innings, Peterson piggyback.
Which I love.
Right, it's amazing.
I love that.
If they're facing the Dodgers, I would piggyback McGill over Peterson. Only because the Dodgers are the best team against lefties. So I would, as much as I don't trust McGill, as much as I do trust Peterson, I think you kind of need to play matchups there a little bit, especially if they want to go game 1 with Senga piggyback. But I think the move is to go Manaea game 1, and then you take it from there. Because, again, Manaea is coming off an excellent start. Really good stats on regular rest. And, yeah, so the Mets can really do whatever they want, but I know you had something that you wanted to bring up.
So we're going into a very, very hypothetical
Oh, Jesus
world.
Christ.
Do you want a Subway Series World Series? Take out content. Think strictly from the Mets' point of view. do you want a Subway Series from a fan's perspective?
Sure.
Okay.
Bring it on.
Because my cousins don't.
My dad also doesn't.
What do you know your dad's reasoning why?
He thinks it's going to be boring. Like, people outside of New York are not going to care.
That's the thing from an MLB like macro perspective, they don't.
Mhm.
They want Yankees Dodgers just because
Yeah.
marketing.
Even Yankees Padres would.
Yeah, just something else just for marketing. But let me
Like, it'd be a huge thing, obviously, for us and for New York, but I feel like not a lot of people are going to really care,
yeah.
which is unfortunate because I think it would be a fun series. But
Yeah, this is what my one cousin said. He said, playing in a World Series is already high stakes. Subway Series makes it infinitely more pressure, although the way the Mets have been playing, that probably works in our favor. And then my other cousin said, because if we make it, I want it to be all about the Mets. I don't want them to share a spotlight with the Yankees. Also, if we lose to the Yankees, well, that would suck balls.
are
And balls
these
is in
Mets
all caps.
fans? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Both
Yeah.
Mets fans.
Yeah.
I kind of disagree on that last point.
That if the Mets lose, it would suck balls.
I agree with that, but I disagree with the thought process.
Okay.
I would want to play the Yankees just because the chance to beat them,
Right.
to get revenge for 2000.
I was just going to say, little 2000 revenge arc.
But to win the World Series, the Yankees had the best odds. The Mets had the third best odds.
Really?
This is, I don't know what sports book, but plus 170 for the Yankees, plus 350 for the Dodgers, plus 370 for the Mets, and then
That's close.
the Padres are fourth with plus 550.
Wow. Mets better odds than Padres. Interesting.
And also like neck and neck with the Dodgers too,
Yeah.
which was kind of shocking to me.
Look, they're hot.
Well, I'm sure if the Dodgers win, those
Yeah.
odds are going to skyrocket.
Absolutely.
But
But I think it's funny because I think I mentioned it before the playoffs started. Every team's beatable.
yeah,
There is not a clear-cut favorite.
there's no 98 Yankees.
Right.
There's no.
Right. Everyone has their issues. Everyone has their weaknesses. For the Mets, you can call it the bullpen, right? You get to that bullpen and you have a pretty good shot, unfortunately. Of
I'd also say
beating
like
them.
the inconsistency with the lineup.
Right.
How sometimes they don't kick it into gear until the later innings, and
Right.
if you get an early lead on them, that can.
Yeah, exactly. That can kind of bite them in the ass. And then, Dodgers starting pitching. Padres right now is the offense. It's Tatis, Higgy, and then Jackson Merrill, and then
Machado.
even Machado's not having a great.
I know he's
postseason.
not having that good
But
postseason,
he's
but
still
at
scary.
any point
He
can
can
just
break out. Yeah, Tigers starting pitching. Guardians offense. Yankees, I would argue offense as well, just because like they're
It's definitely the inconsistency of the
Inconsistent, yeah.
offense.
so. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how things play out, but that's all I had on the Mets.
That's
So,
all I had.
My closing thoughts, Mets fans. This team has given you every reason to watch and to live and die of every single pitch. They've given you every reason to believe. Every reason to believe. Why stop now? You got to believe. Let's go Mets. Whoever they face, they have a good shot. Just imagine. That's all I'm going to say. You got to believe. Let's go Mets.
Let's go the team of gimmicks.
And with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify so you never miss an episode. Social medias, Triboro Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. NLCS. Wow. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys. Bye.